live with another one. Some tales from the crypt, I suppose. I am your hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sibyl, messenger of God, first child of God. I am the Lilith reincarnated. Here on another one. I think we're still in fucking Tuesday, aren't we? Hold on, I'm trying to get a card. What card? I don't know. Something for you to stare at while I read some books. I don't know.
The Shady Things card.
Hold on. Something will come. What I grab? Okay, perfect. I just need something for you guys to stare at while I read. What are we going to talk about? Well, in order to keep up with me, you would have to catch... Oh, interesting. All of our videos... What did you grab? I don't know. I just tried to grab something. All of our videos leading up to this, and what I posted on my community page. What did I post on my community page? Well, I've been talking about it too for like 2 weeks, and I talked about Jewish mysticism. I talked about the dark, the light, the realms, the archangels, everything, the demons, everything that's in all of these realms, spirit, and all like this great shit, the conscious and unconscious. So we've been talking about that. Tonight I'm going to talk about. Well, what I posted was, I keep getting a kick out of everybody's being haunted. I was like, oh yeah? You're being haunted? Well, I've been talking about that. Give me a second. I'm going to try to find a card for you to stare at here. There's got to be something in here that you can stare at. Give me a second. So I wanted to talk about spirits, but I needed something for you to stare at. This will come in handy. I'm sure it will. This will come in handy. This will come in handy. I want to show you the... Do you see the difference in the color coordinations of the cards? The cards are made by elementals, right? Circle and sisters. There we go. Let me see if there's any other ones. Ancient Priestess is in the moon. Astral travels over witches' wounds. Okay. These are just some cards to stare at. I'm gonna just read a bunch of crazy shit to you. And right there will be ancestors. We'll put ancestors in front. So we're gonna talk about consorting with the spirits. Yeah, I saw her earlier. Oh, you made her real comfy. You say you're being haunted. Okay. I was telling someone that earlier. I was like, in essence, you could say I was being haunted in the beginning. I never invoked no spirits. A bunch of dead people started talking to me, and a bunch of spirits. I'm always tripped out. The first time when Jesus came and we had that conversation about the underwear, it was the craziest, bro. The craziest. When Mother Mary came, you know what I mean? When certain figures came, it was like, whoa, whoa. And I didn't do, you know what I mean? I didn't do anything but was there in my quiet space. Right? So I got this book a long time ago to teach you that, because I literally got it in the beginning. I wanted to explain to people how I was talking to dead people. As soon as we started this book, it said you could not do that without reading the other book. So we read the other book, more or less, most of it. I just want to start here. Interesting. I highlighted something in here. I don't remember doing this. It's my book. I had to have done this. Okay, so it's in the beginning, his introduction. A few hundred years ago, doing anything in this book recommends would have made you a criminal. The title of the book, Consorting with Spirits, is taken from the name of the crime you would have been charged with back in the 17th century England. More than a few men and women were tried, found guilty, and hanged for it. Witch hysteria being what it is, most of people they charged probably didn't do any actual conjuring or consorting with spirits, but many others did. We know from written testimony as well as from surviving grimoires and manuals of cunning people that, despite it being a crime, folks were trafficking with spirits. let's take a moment to really appreciate this. And I want to stop right there, is because I came out of the gas station just with my pack of cigarettes, and they had said something, and I was like, Holy Spirit, you are so funny. And this lady pumping gas looked over at me while I said it. There's memes made of it, as we're really literally walking with the Spirit and talking with the spirits. Spirits were considered so important and powerful that people risked imprisonment and execution to contact them and communicate with them. The knowledge of how to manage this bridge between the worlds was contraband of the highest order. The very knowledge you now hold in your hands. Alright, and I said that in my last video. I totally went after Wolfman. It's like he said in his video that, you know, studying the Calabastic tree of life is where he learned how to consort, or how to invoke deities, is what he said. It's like, hold up, swole up. I don't do any of that. They come to me. And in essence, I explained that the day before, is how you enter through these realms, and through, you know, your ascension, that you enter their realms. But they're not light, because you're going through the dark first. So this is, you know, dangerous beyond means. I didn't learn this, and people, you know what I mean, when I started having, and as far as the Ouija board and all of that, you could say that I know what I'm doing. No, the Spirit is guiding me into the things, you know what I mean, as far as my ceremonies and rituals. No, dude, they're like last minute. I grab all this shit and then I read about it later, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what they had me do. Who's they? An inner knowing, bro. It's like, grab all this stuff and go up to the mountain and go do, you know, a sage burn. It's usually just a sage burn, but all this extra makes it a ceremony to me. And the sage burn itself is a ceremony. So let's get down to the criminal undertaking, shall we? Apart from a nod to the criminal charge faced by our predecessors, the other reason this book is called Consorting with the Spirits speaks to what I am most serious, or what I witches do throughout our lives. We don't just conjure a spirit once and ask for wisdom or boons. We consort. Merriam-Webster defines the verb consort as to keep company. Cambridge Dictionary lists it as to spend a lot of time in the company of a particular group of people, especially people whose character is not approved of. And that's the consorts. Oxford gives us the following definition: habitually associated with someone, typically with the disapproval of others. And that's where it is, you know, it's great for you guys to hear that I talked to Pac, but I mean, we've been hanging out for like since day one. Like, it's not like I really talked to all of them that much. Most of them, I mean, and again, once they're there, they're like there. Like, it's just, they're always there. In the essence, you realize they were always there. You just didn't know they were there. And once you can see them, you unsee them. And that's it too. It's like literally in the bathtub, anywhere. But they're not looking through human eyes, so it's not that. It's not even that. The key here is the key here is not the bit about bad character or disapproving authorities, though you will encounter both if you do this long enough, but the idea of keeping habitual company. And that's my spirit guides. That's the dead people that stay. I mean, he's there till I die. Rather die till I die. Every successful witch, sorcerer, and magician I know counts spirit among their list of co-workers and cohorts in the art. And that's where he says he invokes them, and he goes to their temples and he prays to Jesus. Well, he doesn't pray to Jesus. He prays to all these other spirits. I'm like, why don't you just pray to Jesus, bro? Through Jesus, all is there. Anyways, in the essence, he's just dumb. You see, it's a relationship that really matters, not whether the spirit is in the correct column for the planet. That's Pac. Fucking stop this. Or whether the description of the book fits your needs. These things matter for choosing spirits to make initial contact with, but that's just the starting point. Similar to relationships between people, something grows between you and the spirit you interact with regularly. And that's us. We're hella tight. We are 2 peas in a pod. And then, you know, that's what, you know, when DMX came and just sat down with me and started talking to me about his relationship, or it wasn't necessarily about the relationship about Drake, it was a viewpoint that I needed to understand. But just out of nowhere, when he comes, you know, when they would just come and have talks with me. It wasn't, you know, when my relationship developed with Kobe from, you know, different levels. We developed, you know what I mean? Our relationship developed deeper and deeper. Real deep. Alright, let's go back to this. And that goes back to, you know what I mean, having Christ by your side. I don't, you know, Christ isn't in the back of the crowd or something. You know who sits back there? Someone like Nate Dogg. He'd be back there all quiet and shit. He'd be like, I forgot you was in the room. Very quiet. The quiet ones you gotta watch out for. Again, I didn't go talking to dead people. They all came talking to me. Why? Because I could see them and they knew I could. And they were, you know, contracted to me because we're all part of, you know, the soul family. We are family. Alright, keep going. Anyways, and I'm supposed to speak on Prince. You know, Prince. He had made allegations against Diddy and told all about Diddy before some shit had happened. And then this shit had, you know, and then he died, and, you know, here we are again. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't take that shit to the grave, bro. The body died, the spirit didn't. Alright, anyways, let's see. Those things matter, choosing, yeah, similar to a relationship between people. Yeah, you may find that a spirit associated with Venus, whom you initially contact for help with love, winds up being a much better for attracting customers in your business than a Jupiterian wealth spirit. If only because you have established relationship already. You want to draw customers who will love what you offer, right? This is also how some words of power and names that we cast spells and summon spirits to work with. When you demand that a spirit appears in the name of Hecate, or Kythos, or Adonai, or Lucifer, or which power you are relying on, it's not simply name dropping. Spirits can detect not only the investment you have in the power behind the name, but the investment that the power has in you. That's relationship. And that's what it is we are family. We ascend together. You know what I mean? When I got into, you know, the Brotherhood of Buddha, it was all about celebrating this moment with Kobe. Kobe, we made it, bro. I got us here. I got us here, dude. I got us here. And that's it. Together we rise. You know what I mean? So what it is it's a contract, right? So they don't have to come back and they don't have to ascend by themselves. I take on all their karma. Haha! Stupid shit. Why? Because I had plenty. It's not like it was any extra. It's like a fucking dime in the bucket in my case. I'm over here carrying fucking mountains of gold. It does not even matter. You know, I'll take on your life contract and, you know, we'll work together on this so you don't have to take form. And you can take on all of the spiritual stuff for me while I'm taking on the physical. That's it. It's a team effort. And that's where Kobe comes in, is because it's not an individual. It's not I rise and then, oh, okay, you know, they stay in the spirit realm and they're going to continue. No, we rise there. We, my spirit team and I, when I, you know what I mean? We go into the light together. And whoever else, you know what I mean, from this realm goes with us. And that's how that works. It's a, you know, and I tried to explain that the other day with, I don't know where it was, what video I made about, you know, sending Kobe to the game and shit. It was more, it's like, you know, I'm a reflection of him and his reflection is seen within me. You know what I mean? And that's his life work was placed into me and I continue his life's work. So he doesn't come in and have to take another life and do all this work. Work. Yeah, right? It's great. It works. It's a long story. There's a couple of them. You know, and then there's the relationship that I have with Mac. It's a whole different one than, you know, only the old schools really know. And I haven't really spoke on it too much in the new schools, but I made a pact in the beginning to bring Mac back. Not Mac Miller, but the spirit that was in that that body. How? Through my womb, dummy. How is a spirit born? So he's waiting on me to have a baby. That's why I call him my angel baby. It was in the beginning, made a pact to bring him back. He has to come back, and he's gonna, you know what I mean, he'll fulfill his life purpose through the life I give him. Great, right? Teamwork. It makes the dream work. Anyways, you're like, seriously? Yeah, bro. Not all of you knew who you were going to give birth to. But in the essence, you look at my family, there's a, we're my daughter, I got Joan of Arc, you're coming with me. Fucking Benjamin Franklin, you're fucking definitely coming with me. I need all of yous, dude. We're going to change the world. I need all of you to come back. I'll figure out a way to bring you into my life. Oh, yeah, and Mom, come on. I need you. Bring you along. Bring the dog. Truthfully, yeah. I don't really get into all of it, but it's really there in all the videos. Anyways, it's just important to have a relationship with spirits where you live and work as it is to have relationships with well-known spirits who have their names sealed in records and books. These are the spirits that you bump up against every day, whether or not you know it. Reaching out to these spirits, introducing yourself, recording their names and information, and working together for the benefit of you both are among the most rewarding experiences available through magic. And that's what it is. I work with the ascending masters and the highest level of freaking, you know what I mean, of spirits that were here on the earth. These were, what you guys considered as gods or historical figures. Again, they work with me. They make me do their work, if you really want to know the truth. I just be chilling. Anyways, as you go through the book, I will instruct you how to conjure and communicate with spirits. But a lot of the other books do that too. What I really hope to provide is, and which I don't see any of everywhere else, are the tools you need for deepening and discerning the communication that you receive. Very important. Because they can shapeshift. Spirits can take many forms, and they're going to take a familiar form for you. Wolfman said something stupid in his fucking video this morning. He said I'm naked like we are in heaven. No, idiot, you are naked in the fucking Garden of Eden. You really need to read your Bible. You're not in a human form in heaven, idiots. You don't have a body. I said that like 2 days ago. You're not in a human form in heaven. You're a spirit. You're a light. You don't have a form. If you want to put wings, I guess. You guys do all this shit. It's not... You take whatever form. So anyways, when the spirits come to you, they take a form that's familiar to you. But the dark spirits are very cunning and known for that. The dark spirits are more known for that, and that's where you have to be able to ask the spirit, and that's why I tell you, I said in all my videos, especially the last one, I tell you what spirit you're talking to. I have to tell you who I am. I have to tell you, I have to announce the spirit that I am in front of you. And when you're consorting with spirits, you need to make sure that you're talking to the real spirit. That's a scary conversation to have. A couple of my twin flames know dark magic, right? They know sex magic, and they know dark magic, bro. They knew it long before I even awoken, and they were using it on me to stop my awakening or whatever the case may be. But one of them would project himself as somebody else in my images, and the card readers would get it too. Like Russ's mom does that. She can project her image to look like a different energy when it's out. She can project it in a masculine energy. She can project it, but it's not her real energy that she's projecting out there. And that's where it is you need to be able to ask the spirit who it is. It has to tell you who it is. So if you feel like you're not talking to the real spirit, there's a good chance you're not. That's your own gut. You never have to doubt. Anytime you question the spirit, there's a significant reason why. And what is that? They're working your imagination. I can't really tell you. I can't go too much further. I was going to go into it, and they're like, stop there. All right. Not all spirits tell the truth, and not everything that comes across during communication is even a spirit at all. With the lessons from this book, you will be able to separate reality from fantasy, truth from lies, the importance from insignificance. Once you know how to manage spirit communications, you start to cut past surface-level visions and messages and get clear and actionable intelligence. And that's it. They don't speak. I don't hear their words. It's clear and actionable intelligence. You know what I mean? I hear the words that he left that are, you know what I mean, that resonate in the songs that he left. You know, but it's all pictorial, and it's just like, it's a non-communicational communication between all the spirits, to be honest. It's only that it blurts out of our real mouth sometimes. It's like, oh shit, I said that out loud. Right? And that's, you know, they're like, Bobby likes to say, I don't know what voices you're hearing. I'm not hearing any. I'm talking to, like, it's difficult to explain. It may be interesting that the angel Tazkel brought an empowering vision of you sitting on a throne, but it's probably not very helpful in any practical way. Just like the people cutting through the crap gets to the good stuff that makes all the consorting with spirits worthwhile. Anyone can perform a ritual or travel to a power spot and experience something, Wolfman. That's it. Yeah, if you go to the temples of Isis, you're going to experience something. What I want is for you to experience something that matters. Note on the magic, and that's it. You would not be able to do any invocations or rituals at that fucking site. If they saw you, they'd hang you, dude. There's no way you did any rituals at the fucking... Now, what Russ did, when Russ went and performed under the fucking full moon and did a whole music activation, and we used music, yeah, he woke the motherfucking dead. He woke the motherfucking dead. Singing from his heart, and everybody else, and chant, a complete meditation and chant in the desert under the moon, yeah. Oh yeah, that was a serious activation. You walking around the temple taking pictures with your little girl, Templeton, that wasn't nothing. And if they would have caught you doing something like that, even lighting a candle, you know what I mean, doing something more than a tourist show, you wouldn't have made it out of the country. Why? Because you're a fucking tourist. Fucking tourist. Anyway, sorry, talking about it. It's like, yeah, why do you think people go to Jerusalem? So they can walk the holy lands of where Jesus' feet were. Again, putting all the power in the land that his blood was shed. Okay, but do you go over to Salem where the witches died to talk to them? Like, shut up. Spirit is everywhere. It's not in one location, but you're going to that location to connect with spirit. Just like you guys go to cemeteries. There's no dead people at the cemeteries. Really? No, just a bunch of dead bodies. That's where you go to communicate. That's where you think they are. That's where your doorway to communication. You have no communication until you walk to this doorway. Same with Jesus. Same with wherever you go, like the church. That's your doorway to God. God only exists inside of that, you know, those four walls. Okay. Anyways, a note on the magic in this book. People keep trying to put me and the magic I do in a box. What tradition do you come from? What kind of magic do you do? For good or for ill? I'm not that easy to nail down. I have been initiated in several traditions, but I am writing here as a sorcerer. There's a good one. The sorcerer. In the end, and that's where this is like, if I was going to meet someone, it'd be this douchebag. You know what I mean? But in the essence, I told that to Marshall earlier. I was like, you know, I thought I wanted to meet someone that was spiritual. I really wanted someone to be spiritual. But I realized that's not true. Why? Because they're so programmed to their ancient teachings that I can't give them a new way. It's better to have a clean slate than try to erase programming. And I know that from experience. It's so hard to erase the programming. In essence, it's just challenging. I'll have to challenge everything they say and do, just like I do with this douchebag and every other tarot reader. They read it and they believe it and they put it in stone. Well, alright, pull the sword out of the stone, which is pull your fucking brain out of the, you know, put your head out of your ass is what that means. The sword is your thoughts. They're written in stone. You don't fucking pull them out. The sorcerer's stone. Stupid ass. Anyways, it's like, this is really obnoxious to me. I'm not one for wild, I can't pronounce the word for some reason. Eccentricism. There we go. That's a hard word to pronounce. I see a lot of misappropriated, strange connections and cultural disrespect out there. If you're trying to call upon Jesus using the Furba of Odin, you have strayed far away from the reasonable expression of truth or respect for the path. On the other hand, there are people who want to divide the world into neat boxes and never overlap or inform one another, keeping all things separate. The world is not neat and tidy, and that's what I said, they all work together. I practice the magic that I've encountered naturally in my life, even though I lived in a rural town in New Jersey. Why is it always New Jersey, bro? Jersey Shores. I don't know why, but I promise you most of the dark practitioners are in Jersey, bro. For real? Uh-huh. I have somehow came in contact, you think they would be in New Orleans, but that's just typical voodoo. These are dark practitioners, dude. These are all fuckers. I don't know. I guess they went from Salem to Jersey. I guess. I somehow came into contact with a Rosicrucian teacher, a root worker mentor, a witch, and a Tiberian Lama, all before the age of 21. I remember reading this the first time. For me to ignore the teachings I received from many of these people would be disrespectful, so I don't. To me, magic is magic. I no more worry about combining methods from these traditions than I have dictated years of study than I have more than drawing lessons of French cooking and Tex-Mex in the same food. Christianity is the history of folk magic and grimoire magic from the West and is written from this perspective. Paganism in this book, I focus on Hecate, that's me, because I have a deep relationship with Hecate, that's me, and many of my other readers can adapt to what I write in her pagan perspectives. Luciferianism, I consider this more or less connected to the erotic view of Christianity. Somebody is ringing in my ear. This is a system that has informed a lot of work on the Saint Cyprian and one of the most growing sectors of the magical community. Now this is why I started here, is because for some reason I X'd the shit out of that. When did you do that? I don't know. It was me though. It's my book. This may seem strange to people who want to hear from one perspective or from one perspective only. I have been practicing magic for 30 years now, and there are just some of the rooms I have found myself in. We live in an age of global mass communication, and I won't pretend we don't. The writers of the Greek mythical papyri in the 2nd century Greco-Roman Egypt Mediterranean managed to fuse Christian, Egyptian, Greek, Jewish, and mythic ideas into their practice. What did I start with? Native American. Fucking sage. And then as I expanded my herbs, that's when the herbs is how I expanded into other, I don't want to say religions, but practices. I know the different herbs for different practices, and that's where it becomes very unique. There's only 2 herbs you use for Jesus Christ, and that's frankincense and myrrh. They say dragon's blood, but that's not true. You know what I mean? And that's where it is that's what I know them to be. You know what I mean? As far as the olive oil, and that's the woods too. There's certain trees that were for certain cultures. The rose was always used, always in all teachings. The rose was used. And that's just it too. It's like you need to know that, you know what I mean? I am a fire witch. In essence, I'm somewhat of an astrologist because it all becomes fire to me. But that's what it is. A fire witch, I start a fire. I burn a candle. I put together a smudge, and I send all my intentions in smoke signals. So it's very Native American, but it's the herbs that I use that become all different traditions, how I mix it together in the ceremonies. But again, I still honor Christ, you know what I mean, and still honor, you know what I mean, the moon goddesses. I do my Hecate rituals. I do all of my rituals for, you know what I mean, to just as it is. It's, I practice all practices. All right. Let's see. These 3 approaches, the Christian, the pagan, and the Luciferian, represent major streams of thought in the occult world that would benefit from the book like this. Other streams exist that would certainly gain something from what is written here as well, but I'm not planning on commenting on African traditional religions, Buddhism, and other approaches. And that's it too, you don't understand. The Hindus and the Buddhists had their altars and their traditional ways of honoring their gods, bro. And, you know, honestly, I think the Hindu belief has more gods than anybody. I think the Hindus have more gods than anybody had gods. The Greeks had plenty, the Romans had plenty, but I believe the Hindus have over like 400 something gods. Something crazy like that. They have a god for everything. And that's how, you know, the natives and aborigines and the, you know, the people of the land saw it. And you go back to myself and Isis and stuff like that. You know, our gods were the elements. And to become the elements was to become, you know, one with the gods. Alright, let's see. This should not be your first book on magic. The last thing I want to mention is that you should probably not be your first book on magic. It's not that this is an advanced book. I plan on making things as simple and straightforward as possible. It's simply knowing the methods of protection, right? And this is where we stopped and we never went forward. He's like, having the complacency at divination will make the work presented go a lot smoother. I already wrote a book about protection and reversal magic, so I don't plan on presenting a ton of shielding and protection methods. That book, or just a few basic skills picked up in other places, are more sufficient for whatever might bring you into contact with. And so that's where we stopped and we read the other book. This one starts really deep, right away. Chapter 1, What is Spirit? In 1997, I completed a magical work aimed to making contact with my holy guardian angel. Who is that? This took 9 months of increasingly longer and longer conjugations and prayers. Oh, we started this. He was trying to bring it down, and I got pissed off about all of this. The concept of making contact with a personal angel is unique to you comes from the Book of Sacred Magic of Abraham the Mage. Okay, but like most people, I was not following that text to the letter. My journey started using Aleister Crowley's Liber Seneca, and then reverting into the old ritual that Crowley based it on, the Rite of the Headless One. After months and months of dictating a bulk of every day to attaining the knowledge and conversion of this spirit. Let me stop there. I've seen the books. They have the books. They had Aleister Crowley's books. I think they had it at Herbs and Arts. I might have to go check it out. I'll check it out tomorrow. I thought about it today, but I lost track of time. Well, I just couldn't do anything with my time. I thought about it. But I don't want to teach you this. We need to understand what they... It's a two-edged sword, bro. I have no choice. I have to unleash his teachings for you to understand how they learned to do what they did. But in doing it, a lot of people are going to learn to do what they do. We'll lose people to the dark by opening up that book. I do it all the time. That's why I tried to stray away from teaching you the dark. I closed down all of my freaking 200 videos of teaching magic and ritual work and ceremonial work and all this shit. And I realized that I had given you guys way too much. And so I shut it all down. And so opening these conversations makes me weary because I start it, but then people go deep into it on their own. I start the conversations, and then, like I said, you'll get into this and you'll go buy a book. But I'm not there to protect you when you're down there, you know what I mean, getting dirty with this book. No, I haven't seen it for a couple days. Give me a minute, or let me finish this and I'll help you look. After giving, anyways, and that's just it. It's like I don't really... The more I teach you, the more you know, but the more you know, the more it can be, you can hurt yourself with that knowing. I could see her, anyways, going back to this guy. After months and months of dictating the bulk of every day to attaining the knowledge and conversation of this spirit, I finally had done it. I could see and hear the angel right there in the air in front of me. It was glorious. After giving me her name, she asked what tool I would conjure the demons with. Oh, I don't believe the concept of angels and demons as a dichotomy, I said. So I was not planning on doing that. The angel's reply was a little shocking. It doesn't really matter what you believe, Jason. You need to do it tomorrow or your life is going to go to shit. I will find you a tool. What? I was not used to spirits telling me my beliefs don't really matter. At that point in time, I was pretty convinced that applied belief was what magic was all about. So this came as a shock. This was new. The holy guardian angel that I thought might be just a deep part of my own mind, perhaps a mystical state of being connected to the divine, clearly was a lot more independent than I originally thought. The angel said it would give me a tool. I wondered what that meant. That evening, my roommate and I had some magician friends over. One of them decided to give a gift more or less out of the blue, a 5-foot-tall Egyptian-style Waz scepter that he had been working on for months. I could not believe that he was giving me this incredible thing he had spent so much time on. Then I remembered the angel's promise, a magical tool to bind demons within 24 hours. Clearly, there was more to this spirit than I thought. There is nothing quite like getting taken to school by something you don't particularly believe in. What are spirits? I mentioned in the introduction that consorting with spirits was once the name of a crime. The assumption at this time was spirits were fully formed and independent beings who existed in their own realms, somewhat adjacent to ours. Like you and me, but different. Some spirits were thought to wander our world like restless ghosts or demons looking to cause harm. Others might be contacted only through access points like caves or fairy circles. We had people who did not believe in the existence of spirits at all. But for those who did believe and those who felt their influence, spirits are as real as you and I. But what precisely are they? Before I give my own answer, let me give you a crash course on the ever-changing models of spirit and magic throughout a few centuries. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. He's going to break it all down. We're going to break into this more, but I want to just totally take it a different direction. The definitive guide to the world of fairies. Alright, you guys are being quote-unquote haunted, right? What's getting you? Where are we? We're in the air. We just left the earth elements. I could have said earth, but today we went right back into Gemini. We're in the air. Air is one of the most insustainable of elements. With each breath we take, air gives us life. It's around us and with us, and it lends the sky colors of beautiful blue, white, and gray, and it points the sunsets in flaming hues. Around the earth it spreads the gentle mantle, filtering the harshness of sunlight and lightness, brightness, and warmth. Air itself is invisible. We can't see its movements in the wind-stirred leaves, or we can see its movements in the wind-stirred leaves, feel it brush against our skin, and hear it whistle in our ears. And when the air is still, there's nothing to betray its subtle presence. Air provides all that we see and hear in light. As light and sound waves travel through the medium. Our sense of smell is also a gift of air, and we connect with our past in myriads of sensation, for smell is the most instinctual of scents. It connects the reptilian brainstem so that one whiff of a scent can invoke a spectrum of responses. A perfume, for instance, can whisk us back to many years vividly, invoking emotions and images that through the long past. So air brings the gift of memory. Air is associated with thought, communication, idea, and movement. The generic name for the spirits of air is the Sifs. Mischievous and etherical sprites who delight in their swiftness, freedom, cleverness, and unpredictability. They are pure manifestations of the element of air, and more mobile and quicksilver and light as air. These diaphanous beings want to make us wake up, set ourselves free, and think, but not like the plodding way to have our respect in our culture, where the fact has been to set upon until we've built what we believe is an edifice of knowledge. The Sifs know that such knowledge isn't worth a feather when it comes to the etherical realms. Sifs bring inspiration, revolution, new perspectives, and laughter. It may be easy to ignore them, to pull your hat down over your ears and stare at the ground, but sifts will tweak at your coat, whisper in your ear, and create little monkey business around you until you decide to look up and use your mind. All right, now in the elements of air, we have the Vila, and that's trees. Trees are intermittent, I can't read. Intermediary between earth and sky. There's a very special magic in them. In the sense, every tree forms a portal to the other world. Small wonders within the enchantments and shelter of the forest should be found in one of the wildest, sweetest fairies of all, the Vila. All right, her stories go on forever. All right, who else is part of the air? Odin, the All-Father. Odin is indeed a mighty spirit and in the days of old he ruled the strength and wisdom over the gods of the Norse men. These gods were awesome Seer, who dwelt in Asgard. Odin's domain is the vault of heaven, which he rides on his 8-legged steed as he leads the wild hunt. So he's part of, and we talked about that earlier. That's why we read Odin in the 9 realms. Then it also brings out our runes. We spoke about our rune today for the 10-day forecast. The Valkyries were Odin's special battle maidens. Their steeds were clouds. Their glittered spears were flashes of lightning. As their battle cries died and the rooks circled down upon the carnage, the Valkyries would ride in like tempests, choosing their heroes amongst the slain to taste the joy of Valera, the hall of the fallen champions, and stand shoulder to shoulder with the gods when Ragnarok, the great battle that would end the world, had been fought. All right, another one of the air gods is Hermes, and that's what Gemini stands for. Hermes was recognized as an ancient Greek as the powerful messenger spirit. The Romans knew him as Mercury. Tomorrow is his day. And he has wings on his sandals that enable him to escape from trouble he often causes. Full of mischief, he once stole the cattle belonging to his brother Apollo, but quick thinking saved him from retribution. We read about his story. All right, then you've got Lian Sede, who's spelled Lawana She, and the Irish spirit. She is one of the people, a godlike creature who inhabits Ireland before the arrival of the Celts forced them into another dimension. It might be Lanana She, but probably there are many. Goes on to tell her story. Now this is where I really wanted to get to. Aaron Hood is part of it, but guess who else is part of the air element? Bowie's been a Queen of Swords. Here we have another female air spirit with attitude. Lilith, spoken of the Hebrew legend as Adam's first wife, but she is a version of the Sumerian Lilithu, a wild spirit of wind and storm who flew through the darkness to bring nightmares. Lilith, who is a spirit that has been thought ill of because for centuries she embodied something that was culturally unacceptable, an independent woman. Lilith is the voice that whispers rebellion in the ear of every submissive wife, the voice that encouraged retaliation in the abused and suppressed, the voice that calls the ignorant to get educated and act. She's no easy sprite because she has the knack for turning over the neatly racked, pristly painted flower bed and revealing all the worms wiggling underneath. The knowledge she brings may be unwelcome at first, but usually we are stronger for it. Do not fear Lilith. If you have heard her murmurs as you settle to sleep, listen to her. Show her respect. Then she becomes constructive, and she will bring you the gift of a unique creativity. All right, and then there was Thoth. He's part of the he is part of the air element, and then there's myself, the White Buffalo Woman. Native Americans tell about the secret of the peace pipe were revealed in the White Buffalo Woman, who appeared on a mountain to two braves. She was clad in white and beckoned with glorious jewels. Out of the cloud she emerged, and the hunters stood in awe before her. When she looked his way, however, the less disciplined of the two men rushed towards her to embrace her. Smiling, she received him into her arms, and the white cloud again arose to enfold them. When it was clear, the woman stood alone with the skeleton of the hunter at her feet. Great stories, right? Then there's the 7 ravens, the 4 winds, Urias, the lord of the east and the air, Notice, the lord of the south and the fire. Then you've got Zephyrus, the lord of the west, and then in the fire it shows, the salamanders, I wanted to say. The lord of the west and the water. Boreas, the lord of the north and the earth. Then you had the griffins, the sphinx, how to find the air fairies, and mostly, I tell you, I just want to show you, you can catch them with the butterflies. Yep. Air fairies in your home, how to notice them when they're around. Air fairies in the wild, spirits for air fairies, and all this great stuff, right? Meditation to receive gifts from the sifts. Then you go into the fires, and that's me. The dragons, the Dins, the Prometheus. What do we have in there? Din, or genies, the Arabian fairies, are described in the Quran. They formed the fire and are offsprings of the fire, and the veins flow through the flames instead of blood. They are governed by monarchs called Suleiman. In a time before the Din misbehaved, and a legion of angels was sent to put them in their place. A powerful Din called Azazel was among the numbered creatures by the angels, and eventually became their king. You got the Wayland of the Smith, of course, myself, the bridge, how to find the fire fairies, all of that. There was another one in here, the dragons, of course. Something else I wanted to just point out. I don't remember. Meditation for receiving gifts. Then you have your earth. So you have all of these on the realms that are fucking with you. But then you have, whatever else that might be fucking with you. Everything has a spirit. That's what I was saying, down to these oils, the rocks, the trees. You are a spirit. You just are disconnected by your flesh. People, why do they study the spirits? To become closer to God. Or, if you see like these bastards, and I just want to point it out, it's he who must not be named, bro. Everybody that knew what I did, they learned through Alistair, but that's the fucked up shit, and that's why he's coming for them. He's coming for you guys, bro. Because he taught you that all the power came from me. And you took his teachings and tried to attack his goddess. What do you think he's going to do to you? Now we go back to the man himself. Who gave him the power? Me. Overseen by who? God. God didn't let us do something that wasn't, you know what I mean? In essence, I've done it since the beginning of time. I'm Lilith. I've always given you guys the power. It's what I've always done. And so, Wolfman goes over there and he prays to Isis as I tell him I'm Isis. And he tries to send dark fucking, tries to sex magic me from afar. He tries to use Aleister Crowley's teachings against Aleister Crowley's goddess. To what? Control the goddess. Do you know how much fucking trouble you're in? The whole point about the goddess is to unleash your power. You don't come to the goddess for control. You come for freedom and release. Not to oppress others, but to release yourself. And that's exactly what Jesus came to do, later as your savior. You know what I mean? Because you were always looking for a savior, going to the wrong places, looking for someone to save your ass. Well, he told you how to save your ass. And again, I'm going to tell you exactly what he told you, but I'm not going to tell you as nicely. Because I was of the dark, he is of the light. In the essence, it's like you went to these spirits to ask them how to better your fucking life. Why don't you just walk like Jesus said? And for the other ones, you know what I mean? You went to go get power from a spirit to fight the Holy Spirit, to which your power derives from. You can't go. If you went to Archangel Michael to fight me, it would not. Do you understand? So instead, you went to some dark entity of your, where? You went to Lucifer. Lucifer was going to fight Lilith. Do you not know the history? Oh, okay, you went to Isis. I told you I was Isis. I told you every fucking time, every fucking life I've been. You can't use a part of the left side, which is the dark feminine. There's no dark masculine energy, bro. You channel it through your dark feelings, bro. Masculines didn't have any power. The men weren't given power. The power is in their feelings. How you feel about something. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're crazed by something, you'll go after it with no logic. And that's why. So there's a lot here. Again, I didn't invoke shit. I just honor all of the spirits as a priestess. I teach you how to honor the spirits, how to pray to the spirits and stuff like that. But I don't, I practice what I preach. But I didn't start doing that. I didn't buy books. I bought that book. This is the first time we opened it. We're still on page 3. I bought this book years ago, dude, in the beginning of my awakening, to teach you. I wanted to show people what was happening. I needed a way to explain how I was talking to dead people. I thought this book would show us. But the book told us we had to learn how to protect ourselves. And that's exactly what we needed to learn. And that's what I teach you, is once you wake up, bro, everything's coming to your light. And that's what I was trying to save Lewis from. I knew that was going to be the day the music was going to die. At that race, bro, the darkness was going to come get his light. I saw it coming. In the form of people. They come to take your happiness. They come to take your joy. They come to take your positivity, your creativity, your smiles, your peace, bro. Yeah, and it's a spiritual warfare out there. Again, I have, I am a royal bloodline. I was the first creation of the darkness. I mean, next to Lucifer and the Fallen, but I executed it. You know what I mean? And again, going back to it, that was the most mysterious, beautiful thing about it. Is like, I look back at God, it's like, you didn't destroy me. That's where I realized the favor that he really had above, how the favor on my life. Because I had watched him destroy mankind many times. That was my favorite thing. We all tried to destroy mankind. We didn't really, because we knew it was his job. But when I realized that he destroyed, you know what I mean, them, but not me, that's when I realized. And that's when I was able to, you know what I mean, stand up to the dark. You don't understand, he loves us. Look at what he did for us, what he did to them, but didn't do to us. And that's where we realized we were still. I don't know what the word is. I guess the word is just still. We were still. There's many stories of God's wrath and him destroying evil. They're not evil, but evil workers or dark practitioners, they take all of their powers from a source of me. And sometime, Rowan was terrified of the Kali. She won't mess with the Kali. She won't mess with the Kali. But then, you know what I mean, she kept avoiding the dark goddess, and then it consumed her, and she started a weird witch and all this shit, and now she's lost her full-ass identity. But there's a lot of them that are like, I'm praying, what's that other one? She's like, I'm calling of all, something of the light. Only those of the light you stay, the rest of you must leave. You need the dark to walk you through the dark, bro. And so that's where it is. It's like, you know, they knew where their true power came from. Now, is it from a dark side? It's from your dark feelings. Harnessing your dark feelings and turning them into power. Still what I teach you. But I teach you how to alchemize them into light. They taught you how to harness them into dark. So I could pull out my dark teaching right here and tell you how they'll use their dark feelings and create a force of hate, an actual entity, and send it to you. I'll show you how to create a force of love and send it to somebody else, to whole nations, down streets, you know what I mean? All kinds of it, to be a force of love. But again, you know, you can't deny what I was. You know what I mean? As Isis, it's like, wow, she's a goddess. But once you knew I could bring back the dead, that became a very dangerous thing. I always taught all of this. Except for the Morgan, I was just the goddess of war. You know what I mean? But still very deadly, and I can pull out those cards too in my triple goddess aspect. And that's it. They would say there was only 3, but those 3 were 2. You know what I mean? The triple goddess, it was like they always put me in a 3. I couldn't have possibly became Kuan Yin without, you know what I mean, mastering my dark goddess. And that's what I teach you guys, is to master your dark feelings and use the power within them. It's pretty much what Jesus said, but he didn't say it in that. He said it in scriptured word of, you know, overcoming. And that the real power was overcoming. That's what it is. But then we learn how to channel it, you know, for great things. Not just for ourselves, but for humanity. And that's where that earlier video came in, the 10-day forecast about channeling your creativity instead of channeling your rage and hate. And that's something I'm working with Marshall with. It's like his creativity was channeling his rage and hate. I'm wiping this man away of what he was and creating something new in him and trying to get him to channel it. This is a whole, you know, just like myself. I'm not doing it. God's doing it with all of us. But I'm helping guide him through this. That's all he was, a creative channel to rage and hate and hurt. So he's letting go of his rage and anger and hurt. He still must exist without those feelings, and he'll still be creative without those feelings. He'll be more creative, but he'll have to channel it a different way, because Eminem isn't anything but those. He'll have to find another creative outlet, because if he tries to be that, and I saw a post version, when he no longer has that foundation, when he no longer has those feelings, he's going to tell a different story naturally. But those people that want to hear his anger and hurt and pain aren't going to want to hear this new story. And that was what happened with Kanye. Kanye got to a place where he was happily married. He was in the light. He had a wife. He had a family. He had something that he had never had up until then. He had a wife and children, and, you know, was part of a big family, and he was part of something. And it made him want to change his ways. It activated a change, a life, you know, a midlife crisis, where he wanted to change his ways, but it wasn't acceptable to go from, you know what I mean, rapper Kanye to going out there building churches and trying to sing the gospel and trying to be a better man, trying to encourage his wife to stop selling, you know, risky clothes when she's a billion-dollar industry of risky. She's a risky bitch. Sorry, it was a good one. Risky business. Marshall, you catching all this? The creativity is just flowing like crazy. He'll do something with it. I won't. In the essence, it's like you're becoming you, but you have to stop being you. He had to give it up. If he just give it up, yeah, he might sit around like a fucking old man for a year or two trying to figure out what the fuck he's going to do with his life. But that's a year or two that he never gave himself in all of his life, because from the moment we jumped out, we was in survival mode. Give yourself a year to decide what you want to do with the rest of your life. Maybe 2 years, because you never did that before. You just kept living life. You never even gave yourself a choice. You just took the choices that were in front of you, took the cards you were dealt with, and, you know what I mean, tried to, you know, make $1 out of 15 cents. And that's what I tell Lewis. Lewis is so thinly spread. If he quit this and just gave himself some time, he could figure out, you know, new Lewis looks like. He can't be the new Lewis being an old Lewis. And that's what I tell about Russ. You're a liar, bitch. I say that all the time to Mike Studd. You're a liar, bitch. You can't be clean wearing dirty clothes. Your clothes are your material. You're outside. Right? And so as I became new and I started cleaning myself up, I became spiritual. I mean, obviously, I was in spirituality and shit. I was looking for spirituality to guide me because I didn't have any guides. And as I started getting through it, I got new guides that were guiding me through it. New levels. Now, I have, as I teach you, and it's in one of these books, not this one. I don't think so. Let's see, I got the conjugation. You probably shouldn't do that. Controlled appearances. Oh my God, Becky. Eminem. I don't know, hold on, let me see what this says in these chapters. Prayers of spirits, fear and danger. Yeah, what's that? Danger, Will Robinson. Relationships and pacts. Intermediary spirits and familiars. 171. Those are our numbers. Let's get to that. Let's get down to it. Okay. In the past few chapters, we saw that we can leverage relationships with powerful deities and spirits to summon other spirits, either through friendly invitation or forceful compelling. I don't think you should be forcing any spirits. That's not... What the fuck are you doing? There is, however, another method that we should discuss, the use of intermediary spirits. These are spirits who help you contact and consort with other spirits. That's what it is. I got my spirit guides, then we got the Ascending Masters, and you talk to them. So when she was like, I want to talk to my grandma. Paul, can you go talk to her grandma, bro? That's not my job. I know, it's not my job either, bro. Go tell somebody's grandma that they're calling them. I am a medium, but I don't want to talk to the fucking... What do you want to say to them? I don't even have to... I mean, in essence, am I playing God or am I playing grandma right here with you? So insensitive. Alright. Gods and powerful spirits whom you call upon to constrain spirits will carry a lot of weight, but they are also a bit distant and not likely to directly involve in the operation itself. It's kind of like calling the Amazon helpline and invoking the fact that you know Jeff Bezos. Oh God, I'm seeing Russ. Oh God, Becky, what happened? His Texas. We like to cancel his shows. We like to cancel him a lot. We fucked with one of his shows. He was too close. You were too close to me. Get the fuck away from me. I went all that far and you want to come that close to me. He had a show in Texas, in Dallas. It was a couple hours away. And something happened. And he was like, in his stories, he was like, I may have low-key called so-and-so. I think it was something Mark Cuban or something. Like, you're just going to call down the fucking, you know what I mean? Just call somebody's manager because your show can't go on. Fucking idiot. That's how I see this. This is funny to me. Sorry. That's what I got out of that. Anyway, sure, it will eventually get done, but the name you have called upon is so distant from the poor representative on the phone that you would be better if you had a direct access to someone further down the line. If you really knew Jeff Bezos, I said Bezos, it would give you a personal concierge to get things done. That's the idea behind an intermediary spirit. You put a significant amount of work into establishing a rock-solid relationship with this one spirit, and it can go out and contact other spirits for you. I mean, I really don't do any of that either. They just do whatever they do, and they tell me what they're doing, and I just be like, this is what they're doing. This is how they do. I've always sat at the thrones with them, dude. I'm not in the microcosm of the little bitty workings of what y'all are doing when I'm not looking. I don't. They don't, like, drag spirits up to me or anything. It's us, and we're just chilling, and then a higher spirit might come into the room. Like, hey, you know, like when Krishna was trying to contact me, I don't know what you're talking about. What are they talking about, Clock? I don't know what they're talking about. You know, when the fucking Lumerians came, not the Lumerians, the Palladians, and they all fucking, you know, beating me up and shit, and I'm all laying on a bed, and there's a bunch of these beings. All I see is Kobe in the background. What the fuck's going on, Kobe? In some traditions, access to intermediary spirit is the mark of spiritual authority. Knowing the names of a deity is all well and good, but why should anyone listen? That's what's funny, is they're always like, you and your spiritual authority, you have a direct line to source. Yeah, I'm directly connected to him. I don't need to go through Jesus to talk to God. I need to talk to Jesus about how God is pissing me off. That's what I talk to them about. I don't talk. They're not my line to God. They're your line to God. That's it. I am a God amongst gods. I am goddess. I don't need to talk to you. In the essence, he's not above me. None of them are. There's nothing above me and God. We're just there. In the essence, like, do you want me to step out so you can talk to the rest of these bastards? And that's it. I'm just there. Like, here comes Lilith. Yeah, I have that black card, bro. I go wherever the fuck I want. And that's it. It's all, you know, you have to understand, though. You only seen me in the human forms. You only know of me in these human forms, right? But I was many things before I had to be all these stupid things for humans. And then he made me a goddess of the moon and all this bullshit. I'm a planet. I'm a fucking solar system. I'm all kinds of shit. But in the essence, it's like, nah, these are your connections to God. They're not my God. I mean, and I don't use them to connect to God. I call on Jesus for, like, patience and shit. I'd be like, help me, Jesus. Like your kindness and stuff. I need your spirit because I'm about to act a fucking fool. You know what I mean? Like, I cry to him when God's pissing me off. You know, I don't really kind of go to anybody else about anything else, really. I mean, not really. I don't even really go to him. We just have talks. Why? Because I be in some shit that he needs to talk to me about. That's how it all works. They just come and talk to me about some shit. Alright, let's look at some examples of intermediary spirits in the magical tradition. The Holy Guardian Angel. Of the Sacred Magic of whatever, the Mage, is one of the most famous books in magic history. Maybe we should get this book. Similar to other books, it contains the catalog of demons and the selection of magical squares that activate different magic effects. There is a catch. First, you have to attain the knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel. Yeah, I told you, you have to. Just like Dante. He had Virgil. Everyone has their guardian angel that takes you through this bullshit. I can't say who has more authority. Okay, alright. As soon as I was trying to say that. Kobe is my guide. Pac is my avenger. He's not really taking me anywhere. He's getting me in trouble, to be honest, all the time. That's why I was like, dude, all you want to do is sit around and talk shit all the time. It's fun and all, but we're not getting shit done sitting here talking shit about people all the time. That's why I was like, go sit with Marshall. Go talk shit about people with Marshall. Serious, this motherfucker always want to talk some shit. Anyways, no, Kobe's my guy. He tells me how to move. It's an intimate connection. Well, it was more like, you know, a drill sergeant, a coach, a mentor, you know, something like that. Now it's just a closeness. I mean, I've cried to him many times to just be standing there like, They're so insensitive to the fucking bullshit. The book prescribes an 18-month working during which you pray fervently to God to bring you in contact with your personal angel, who will then act as an intermediary. Well, that makes sense. I mean, no, he was already there. But I kept telling God to send me fucking Gandalf. I kept calling for Gandalf. I was like, Gandalf, where are you? What's happening? I don't know. It just was something I would say all the time. It's like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. But I knew right away that I was dealing with more than Jesus. I knew right away that I was dealing with somebody else's gods more than Jesus, bro. I said it since the beginning, and that's why I use the word they. Pronoun they. More than one. I knew that right away by the way that the spirits were talking to me and guiding me, the practices. Putting stones in my bra and burning sage. Hey, this is not Jesus. I studied Jesus my whole life. This is not Jesus. Whose ancestors are guiding me? Is what I've always said in the beginning. I'm like, who the fuck? What the fuck is guiding me? And then I find this book, and it's like, oh, it was you.
If it's true that without Adam and Eve, wouldn't that make us all siblings?
Yeah, bunch of ancestors. Incesting ancestors. Hey, write that down. I've been ghostwriting all day to that guy. Write it down. It's okay. Unless your pride gets in the way and you're like, I can't do it. Why? Because you persecuted others for having ghostwriters? Well, they actually had a human that wrote for them. Okay, I'm not writing for you. I'm just a ghost speaking little things in your ear.
My shoulder hurts pretty bad.
All right, let's keep going. You got to pray to God for like 18 months to ask who this person is. That's a long time. Which is how the first English translation read. Others do it by this book, but set the timeline aside and let's take as long as it takes. Still, others go far off book and use Aleister Crowley's Liber Shamik, I don't know, as the ritual, but still increase the... Do you understand? I'm just going to stop right there. If all of you use the same practice, then all of you are only as good as the book. I'm just saying that. Anyways, don't go doing this, you guys. Don't go breaking my heart, is what I heard. Don't do this. I'll teach you how to talk to the spirits without Aleister's weird teachings.
Hey, Aleister the Overlord?
I mean, Aleister? That's the only dark angel I ever carried, dude, since the beginning. I always carried that demon. I didn't know Aleister Crowley was going to be my demon. I was going to hunt that guy.
There's a show about that.
Alright, there are some people who place the importance on the holy guardian angel that they claim those who do not possess knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel should not be doing magic of any kind. Yeah, because you're in danger. There's nothing protecting you. I don't think that is reasonable or accurate, but I can tell you that undertaking the work is a powerful experience. I attained the knowledge and conversation of my holy guardian angel in 1996, and it told us this whole story. We already read it. Why repeat yourself? You're dragging on words. Any serious discussion in the work requires a book of its own and blah, blah, blah. If you decide to do it. Second. Alright. If you decide to do it, I have a few pieces of advice. First, don't listen to people who claim it's advanced work done after many years in magic. Quite the opposite. It's supposed to be done before you do a lot of other work. Second, do it when your life can withstand it. Many people report upheavals during the process, myself included. I did it in my 20s before I had a solid family and career. So it did not matter much if everything blew up around me. Yeah, you're going to blow up your face on this one. That's what she said. I would never do it now. It's best done in your youth or after retirement, in my opinion. Third, don't worry about what people say. The holy guardian angel is. Do the work and find out. Often you find people's opinions on the issue evolving over time. For instance, in my earlier writings, Crowley considered the holy guardian angel to be part of the self, but later when writing Magic Without Tears, he wrote that it was definitely a discrete entity, perhaps a type of being that had passed through our stage of humanity already. Told you. They've already been human. Most of them. And that's it. All of mine have. Kobe was human. I started out thinking it was part of myself and was quickly disabused of the notion by the angel itself. Of course, okay, here's another thing I say that everybody doesn't choose to believe. Archangel Michael, I see it in the Michael Jackson. Can you please? What? No, I said please. Do not interrupt one more time. That was me asking nicely. Please do not interrupt one more time. I see that Michael Jackson, Archangel Michael, took the form of Michael Jackson in the sense of almost all of his spirit was in that man. And that's why that man wasn't a man of this world. He was a very strange and unusual man that was very childlike, that shared nothing but love. If you understand the power of Archangel Michael that God created, he was the battalion of love. That sword was truth. He was nothing but love and light. That's how he fought, was with love. I say this often, that his whole spirit was captured in Michael Jackson. So I say Archangel Michael is Michael Jackson. You can choose not to believe it, but you must understudy the spirit to know. If you know the angel, you can recognize the spirit. That's it. If you know Christ, you can recognize Christ in other people. And that's Kobe. You can recognize the Kobe mentality in people. And see that thug life in people. You can see that youthfulness and that love of Michael Jackson in people. That soul is what it is. That youthful soul. He was the king of pop, is what you called him. And then you've got someone like, at 117:17, when I look down, you got someone like Prince. It was a whole divine feminine energy in a male body. Not a gay man, a divine feminine energy in a male body. Amazing, isn't it? How the spirits are right in front of you and they just wear flesh. You'll miss them, like myself. Anyways, let's see, what were we talking about? Holy angels, holy shit. Tears without magic. Of course, the holy guardian angel is not... Oh, okay, going back to this, I got to download too. Crowley considered the holy guardian angel to be part of itself, but later written that it was something separate. Okay, so when I first saw The Dark Night of the Soul, I said it. I saw it in an image. It was a black horse and a black rider with no head. Then later it took form and it was Kobe. Then as I learned the teachings about Kalik, which was the goddess Kalik, I realized I saw the intertwined of this spirit, that Kobe was the counterpart to this spirit, meaning he was that spirit in a male form. If there was a male form of this, if this spirit took a man's body, it would be Kobe. And then I realized I am the Kalik, and that's where this was. He was never putting his spirit into me. He was awakening the spirit of what I was that lied within him. Pac didn't make me thug. He reminded me that I was thug. But in the essence, in his life, the spirit that spoke to him was my spirit, not in my body, but my spirit. You know what I mean? That divine feminine spirit that kept him. That divine feminine spirit, you know, and God. And that's where they say they knew the divine feminine. They knew the divine. All of them did. Down in Nipsey, he spoke about it. They knew the divine. The divine is separate from God. When somebody uses those words, they're speaking about something outside of religion. You know what I mean? So going back to Russ and all his dark practices and shit, he gave himself up a long time ago. All of his videos were talking about his power of manifestations and all of this shit. Cleaning out his chakras and all of this shit. That's all. Why do men learn spirituality? To become men of God? No, to become powerful, to become gods among men. So they studied the dark arts. That's alright. So was fucking Bobby reading these books. The power is there. Wisdom and knowledge is there for you. It's how you apply it to your life. Everybody took their life's work and they put it in a book. So that you could live their life through a book. You didn't have to live all the years and to gain that knowledge. You could read it in one book, like this guy says. Okay, so going back to it, it's like at first you think it's part of your, you know, yourself. Then you realize they're totally different entities. you know, when Pac came to me, I was just like, what the fuck? And I was just relaying messages for him. I didn't, you know, I thought I was just, oh God, and when Nipsey told me to reach out to his wife and shit, that was crazy, bro. The way he told me towards the end. Let me tell him again. He was going to divorce her. In the beginning, he told me to go and tell her to go look in her file. And all I could do was, I was like, please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this. Don't make me look like a crazy person. And I'm crying because I can feel the reaction of what she's going to see in this file. I don't know where it is. All I can see is a file. He's showing me where this is. He's showing me that it's in a cupboard, or it's in a drawer, and it's on a second story, and it's white, and he's showing, all I can see is, you know, the visual of where this piece of paper he wants me to tell her to go find is. I don't know what the paper is. About a year and a half later, he shows me what was on it. He was going to file for divorce against her. Weird, right? Yeah. But he didn't show me that in the beginning. In the beginning, he just kept trying to get me to get a message to tell her to go find those documents. And all I told everyone, I was like, I don't know what it is, but I can feel her pain when she reads it. It's going to break her heart when she reads it. It's going to make her cry real hard when she reads it. Again, you know, I don't fully ask questions. Pot came out. I was driving to Black Hawk. Got this huge story. I downloaded the video. I haven't rewatched it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight or tomorrow. And he comes out. It's like an hour video, and he's talking about the whole music industry, how it worked, how it still works in all studios now, how it's all sour. And he talks about Diddy and how he's going to come after Diddy. And here we are. You know, at first I thought I was just commissioned to do, you know, work for them, really, you know, as a medium, just give people messages for them. I didn't know that, you know, these were my spirit guides, but it was in those obedience of giving those messages, you know what I mean? Like, the first one was to Will Smith and Jada. He had got pulled into it. Jada had said all this crazy shit on the internet about she was sleeping with his spirit and that, you know, all this crazy shit. I was the first one that got into that. Next thing you know, give it a year later, here comes Will Smith talking about shit like the dark night of the soul, using my terminology. They all still watch, bro. Definitely, from the beginning. Alright, of course, the Holy Guardian Angel is not the only type of intermediary spirits. Paradros is the name of a class of helpful familiar spirits that appear many times in Greek magical papyri. The nature of the spirit varies according to the papyri you are reading. Some of the powers connected to the constellations, some are the spirits of the dead bound into service. Some are simply spirits who have been granted by the gods, who are granted by gods or powers to the magician. Though I have never done it, the wildest method for obtaining a paradros in the papyri involves invoking the goddess Nymphalis. Then, when she tries to leave, you grab her and refuse to let her go until she binds the spirit of an old woman into your service by giving you 2 teeth, one from an ass and one from an old woman. If you wanted to obtain a Parados, I don't know what this word is, Paradros, you could alter the Hecatian invocation for the last chapter so that Hecate makes a Paradros appear in front of you rather than a spirit you already know in the name of. I would probably do something less aggressive. I would start by invoking Hecate on the dark moon and making her a large offering of eggs, honey, wine, and incense. Start with one of her classical hymns to link you to the past, followed by the prayer from the page 163. Finally, move into your own request for... I'm just stopping. Hold on. It's like you said too much. I mean, this is what they do. I don't even know what this is. A paradose. I think you should stick with your spirit guide. I don't know what the fuck a paradose is. I don't think you should be asking spirits. This is why I don't teach you people, other people's witchcraft. This is his book, and his book is to teach you his witchcraft, and you go into it. I am your teacher, and I'm not teaching you to go into other people's shit that I say is not safe for you. I can't make you listen to me, but I'm telling you, no. There's system-specific spirits. The vermin, which is one of the best and most workable of classic grimoires. Let's not work with vermin. There's saints. If you're Catholic or you've ever picked up a card with a saint on it, chances you know the phrase ora pro nobis, pray for us. This is a perfect example of an intermediate spirit. God is pretty far removed from the foibles of human existence. So we appeal to spirits who are powerful and known to God. Sainthood has its privileges, but it also deeply rooted in human struggles of suffering. Sometimes pagans or Luciferian magicians wonder why anyone would pray to icons of figures who are crying and suffering rather than displaying power and majesty. But this is precisely their suffering that makes them likely to help. I don't know. Then there's Saint Cyprians. It's telling you about all these people that, people invocate. Familiar spirits. I'm just kind of reading through this. By some definition, having a familiar spirit is the defining feature of witchcraft. It lives and sleeps alongside you and is intimately connected with you. Where the familiar originates can differ. Some witches claim their familiars are ghosts of the dead, natural spirits, fairies assigned by the Queen of Fairy, or demons assigned to a witch by the devil or his emissaries. Since we spent 2 chapters discussing demons in the Grimoires, it's important to note that one of the key functions of many demons in the Grimoires is that they grant familiars. So we have a situation where we may have spent time doing a lot of work to contact a famous or well-known spirit so that they can give us a very personalized spirit that will be connected with us, our home, our temple, or whoever we want to set up the scenario. The reason that this is such a key thing to understand that people may feel that at any time they need to do magic, they need to turn to a spirit from a book. The seals and names of familiar spirits are hard-won prizes to be guarded, and they are keys to how a lot of magic is done, both today and in equity. It's just that because of the personal nature of the familiars, they often don't make into books. I'm just kind of seeing. It's towards the end. There's a lot here. I'm just kind of looking at what about the devil. Let's not talk about the devil. Dismissal, conjuring, Archangel Raphael, powers of passion. Just let me read through this. Controlled appearances. I've never really read through it. Those are congregations. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, here's all our demons. Egyptian deacons, too. Hebrew deacons. Damn, there's a ton of them. Conjuring. I don't do any of this, guys. There's all the sigils. I don't do any of this. Fear and danger. Yeah, you should be afraid. Ouija board. What did it say? Did you hear about the girl who became possessed by a Babylonian wind demon Pazabar after using a Ouija board? Or how about the family who had a pack of King Payman and all wound up dead? How about the witch who would make love potions to attract men only to be driven into insanity and death? These kind of things happen all the time. In movies specifically, The Exorcist, The Love Witch, Stories of people making deals with spirits that lead to their ultimate demise are timeless. They are too magic, what refers madness to the marijuana. Over-the-top and unrealistic portrayals of what will happen if you break society's taboo. Like marijuana, the danger of magic are often overstated by people who know nothing about it and other than what they were told is bad. Unfortunately, misinformation can come. I have seen people push a line of nothing bad can happen or spirits love you, which is also not true. Most of us think absolutely nothing about getting behind the wheel of a car and driving to the grocery store, even though roughly 38,000 people die a year in accidents on the U.S. roadways. In short, take precaution. I'm going to stop there. I don't invoke spirits. There's plenty of people that do. I am spirit. I'm getting a weird feel over my body. I'm getting flushed with heat and all kinds of stuff. As I said earlier, I've been having flu-like symptoms. I'm going through...
You got the bird flu.
I'm going through an alchemical transmutation, and it's just fucking with my body. But, you can look through all my videos since the beginning. They talk to me. I don't talk to them. I mean, I didn't invocate them. I didn't ask for this. And this is where I take all their powers, you guys. This is what you got to understand. As all these dark practitioners and all these cults, this is why Draco calls me the cult buster, is I expose their power for what it is, where they get it from, and what they use it for. And I show you that you can have more power than them by what? Just walking in your own spirit. They're literally praying to spirits to give their flesh power. When you walk in your spirit, it's more powerful than their flesh could ever be. All the gifts of the spirit that they're trying to get from the spirits are lie within your flesh if you take it off. Ultimately, I teach you how to take off the flesh so you can be spirit again and be one with the spirit and work with all spirits. These guys, you know, I'm going to keep exposing the shit out of him. He's going to... Hawk doesn't... You're not going to like this. But I'm going to be very honest with you. If I don't find a mate, then Pot gets to come in and fulfill the role. So he's fine with pushing everyone out. If this doesn't work, then they're gonna freaking they're gonna do an immaculate conception. There's another one. Mary talked to the spirits. Nobody talked about the fact that she got pregnant by a spirit. When I first met Wolfman, I told him exactly who my spirit guides were, and you better respect it. They're not gonna be. They'll be there at every minute, every thought you have. Anybody that comes into my energy, you meet them first. They are my spirit. They're outside, you know, as I'm here in my flesh, they're outside. They're not, they're everywhere, in essence, in that, and I always said that. But, you know, going back to it, it's like, all of them try to go to the spirit realm. They try to, you know, and especially I'm exposing these tarot readers. I'm exposing all types of, you know, lies. Going back to the church has no spiritual connection to Christ or to any spirituality. They do not have the gifts of the spirit, for they walk in the flesh. They do not practice the words of Christ. They preach. Damn, it disconnected as soon as I said that. You already have a spirit team. You don't need to ask for them. You need to ask for them to be revealed to you. But they'll only be revealed to you in the time when you're in a spirit. You can't. It's not of the flesh, bro. They don't live in this realm. You're not going to see them in your thoughts, bro. It's in your quiet spaces when you're not, you know, in your unconscious. They're part of the unconscious world. It's the only time you're going to see them. So this girl asked me earlier, and I had already planned this video. And then I went to the store and she asked me, you know, how to communicate with her grandmother. And I'm like, your grandmother's already trying to communicate with you, dude. And what did I tell her? I was like, I teach people how to do necromancy. First off, they're the ones that are sending you these visions and memories of them. You were not thinking about the dead until the dead put the vision in your head. Now you see them. Now the conversation starts. And it starts with something similar to being in your imagination. What are you saying to me? Can you hear their voice or watch their lips move? You feel it, it's a conversation in your heart. And that's where it becomes a little bit imaginary, and you gotta watch your brain. Your brain may put in words in their mouth that they never said. It's like, what are you trying to tell me? And you have to listen very carefully inside. And that's where it is. When you're in a room, it's all quiet, you know something's in the room with you. Acknowledge it before it starts slamming a fucking door and trying to make you know that it's there. I feel you here. Who are you? Wait for the vision. A memory. A song. A picture. They'll show you who they are. And then ask them, what do you want? And really, they probably didn't want anything. You called them in. Some of them you might see more and more, and then you'll start to realize they're not going nowhere. You are like always with me. You are not going anywhere, are you? Have you always been here? That's what I said. Puck, have you been here my whole life? And then I realized, I'm pretty sure he did. Who was walking me backstage in all those concerts? Who was me in all of the music since the beginning of my fucking life? Call me lucky for nothing. Pretty sure he was, bro. I was 15 when he died. And that's when my life started in the streets. It's like he guided me through this probably. I don't have fully the memories, but it all makes sense now. It's like, how long have you really been here? And so then, you know, our relationship, and that's what it is. It's like, you know, in the morning, nah, it's not him first thing. I mean, after coffee, there he is, talking shit. You know, after I'm fully awake, not usually, but when I go to bed, no, it's him. Good night, Pac. You know what I mean? Or if I'm having a hard night, I'll reach to the other ones. On a Monday, after a hard weekend, I'll see a quick glimpse of Mac. Remind me that everything's good and we're on track. He's depending on me. He's depending. You know, the whole universe is. It's like, nah, if I'm in the shower, they're in there talking to me. If I'm walking down the street, they're talking to me. If I'm sitting there, you know what I mean, just having a cigarette, they're talking to me. Not voices. They're sending images. That shit earlier, that shit right there, bro, that shit is unbelievable. It was so offensive and so funny and so Pac. What happened? He said, it was his words. I didn't come up with this. I did not come up with this. He said that dudes that have back tattoos have bumper stickers. And they put them out there to fucking show off to other men.
It's like tramp stamps.
Exactly. That's what Pac said. He gave it a word, too. He said it was a bumper sticker. That was the fucking craziest shit ever. It's not that. He's had plenty of these conversations where he comes and just shows me some shit that's like, you're crazy, bro. That's hilarious. They're going to be mad. In the essence, they're like, you're always getting me in trouble with some shit. And that's it, too. Kobe's over there trying to get me to be Christ-like, and he's over there fucking pulling on my darkness, and we're just on the ground being dirty and shit, and Kobe can't do shit about us. It's like, if you two don't stop, I swear to God. Well, what do you want me to do? He won't stop. It's not like Kobe has any authority over Pac, or vice versa. These two are going to go to war over what? They can totally get along. There's no... They just have different roles. But definitely. And so, I said that in my earlier video. I attacked everyone. Is all these people swear they're your Holy Spirit, your ancestors, your guides, God, the angels. I mean, which one? And that's where I called out all these spiritualists. Tell me who's talking to you. Now again, Wolfman came out and told you how he masturbates to clean his chakras and he connects with deity and does all this sex magic, Aleister Crowley dirty shit. He didn't tell you he was doing it to try to get control over me and other women like me, because he has no power of his own, little tinkle-winkle. Can't even read the cards right. I mean, I guess you're kind of a better tarot... No, you're not. I catch you fucking slipping all the time. Slipping in the dark. The essence is like, yo, where'd all this come from? I told you, bro, all I did was fucking clean out my mind. And I got fucking stuck with the Holy Spirit for life. And when I get too deep in my mind, guess who is there to save me? The Holy Spirit. You know? And that's it. But also, I told the stories of how I've been taken off on their asses, too. I'm like, it's your fucking job. You're fucking supposed to do it. That's not my job, bitch. That's not my job, bitch. Well, fuck. Find someone that can do it. Your spirit team. You mean the whole force of God? Everything God ever created is on my side, bro. Why? Because he gave me this unbelievable job to do that the whole universe needs to do. They put it in, just a couple of us. Like, we're gonna do it all. Yeah, with you and what army? Gods. They're gonna get you. I'm not fucking playing with you. I gotta go make dinner and fold laundry. God is going to get your bitch ass. Is what I told people all last week. And now all the videos are like, they're being haunted. Well, let me tell you. Who's kicking your ass? Your own spirit guides, bro. Your own spirit guides. You think Pox really? I mean, he probably blew right through your spirit guides when he shows up. He's like, hey, I gotta go fuck with them. Why? Because they were fucking with Lilith. And God said, oh, shit, for real? You knew they were. Get out of the way. And that's it, too. Your spirit guides are supposed to stop you from fucking creating karma for you. Because they got to sit there with you in your karma, and they got to explain you to God. What's going on with your person? I mean, didn't I give you this person? Aren't you supposed to take care? And that's what it is. It's like they don't have to answer for me, but we answer together. Like, and that's what I said when I was in spiritual court. Damn it! I love you, Pac. It was just Pac. He didn't leave me to dry. Kobe was nowhere to be found at that moment. What happened? I got myself in spiritual court fucking with fucking Wolfman, calling him all kinds of bitches and shit. And then I realized he had some kind of spiritual authority that got me in trouble. I'm like, who the fuck are you, bro? How come I'm in spiritual court? Who the fuck are you? And I'm just sitting there with Pac. Pac's my defense attorney, and there's no defense. He's just sitting there, and we're just sitting there together like, fuck. Like the Hall of Shame. He's got to go down with me. Like, he's just got to sit there and watch me take this. And that's what happened, but he didn't leave me even then. He was right by my side when I got myself in trouble. And it was funny, too, and I had to sit there forever. They're, like, just trying to make me feel bad about my life decisions. Oh, what I realized. Well, I mean, because he was Hades in the past life, so he was favored by, a god. Well, there's more gods than that god. Oh, God. In the essence of, I'm not just that, we're just playing this role for a minute. I play a lot of roles on this planet. But that's what happened, is like, I rebelled against, the one I was supposed to submit. And I got myself in trouble. I mean, fuck him. Punk was right there. That was the best. I want to kind of go back and watch those videos, dude. Because nobody else was, dude, it was just me against the world, and then there was Pac. I was like, he couldn't do nothing to get me out of it, but he didn't let me go through it by myself. And that's what's awesome about Pac. I can't, you know what I mean? Like, I guess as a guardian angel, that would be him. As a guiding angel, that would be Kobe. Kobe doesn't really do anything like that. He doesn't do it. He's not no hands-on. He's more like, he makes me put my hands on. He don't put hands on you. Or nothing like that on the world. He doesn't force that. He's a guide. He's not a force. He's a guide. Does that make sense? Yeah. Fucking Pac, he's a force to be reckoned with. Like, he's a movement. He's an active force of God. You just kind of learn what they do. They all have different things what they do. What does Michael Jackson do? Oh, he just gives you love. He just reminds you. He just opens your heart. You can't look over and see Black Mike without a smile, bro. You can't. He just, like, makes it better. And then you turn on his music, and it makes it all better. He's just a better feeling, bro. He's a better man. But in the essence, do you think Pac or fucking Kobe are bowing to Michael Jackson? Or vice versa? Michael might. That was Pac being smart. In the event of an emergency, if we're talking about Banner and Hulk here, he's pretty great and all, but I think we need confirmation. We need Pac on the block. He's a little more deadly. Yeah, those are just my, my top 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. Hut. It never really ends. But I don't like talking to dead people like that. Don't make me go talk to you dead people like a fucking translator and shit. Fucking Google translator and shit. And that's why I said, what do you want to talk about? Please don't, you're not going to ask me about a dumb boyfriend or something, right? She asked if you do readings. I was like, you're not going to ask me about an ex-lover or something. She's like, no, I want to talk to my grandma. I was like, well, then talk to your grandma. And listen when your grandma talks. This isn't hard, bro. And that's what it is I'm not trying to pretend like I have power over you. I'm trying to empower you to know that nobody has more power than you. They're not going to know your grandma better than you. You know what I mean? In the essence, they don't even know if it's really your grandma they're talking to. Somebody just showed up and it doesn't look like the person you said. Why? Because they don't come in grandma forms. Stupid. They don't come old. They're very young. They're back in their, most spirits outside of the human after they've died, they're somewhere between 13 and 19. You're like, serious? Yeah, pretty much. They look about that age. They're very young. And I guess if you asked us, what is our spirit inside of us? Are we 6-year-olds? I mean, I guess when we're hungry. But normally, like, what is your spirit that it stays at a certain age for the rest of your life? Right? Somewhere between 13 and 19. You're still very juvenile. You're teenage you. You're not a whole child you. You're a teenage you. But you can act a child. You're pretty much a teenage you. Going back to some of these older, like Ellen DeGeneres before she became weird. Before she became old. How old would you say her young spirit was? And that's like Mr. Plum. He's got a young spirit. He's very old. He's got like, no, he might be a little younger in spirit. Maybe about 13-year-old little boy. For sure. He's wise with experience, but his youthfulness is still seen. I don't see dead people with, blood and guts and, missing limbs and, funny colored skin like zombies and shit. Never seen no shit like that. Never seen no shit like that. If there is something dark, I don't usually see it in a form. I can just sense it. What's the biggest sensor? My eyes start watering. My eyes start watering right away when I'm in the presence of something dark that I can't see. And that's also the sign of God. You know what I mean? If I'm, in the sense of, joy, when you're filled with so much joy, you cry. So it's that kind of similar feeling. Tears are not always bad. You have to learn where they come from. It's just your waters. The waters run dry, is what I heard. So this was a great one. This is another 2-hour video about, talking to dead people and stuff. Again, you're going to notice, I haven't seen it anywhere, and since we started it, it's all about fucking Alistair. We opened that shit up when we opened the darkness. You guys opened it up. I've never even read the motherfucker's bullshit. But the motherfucker, he learned all of his magic from studying me in my very different forms. And anybody that does dark magic studies me. Now, I'm here to protect you from them. But if you're using me to fight me, then I'm going to fuck you up. Or they are. I'm really not going to do anything. I have to, raise kids, do laundry, and be a priestess. I'm not really doing much shit like that. When I get in an attitude, I got to go burn some sage and smoke a cigarette, calm down and shit. I really don't get that crazy. I used to. But then that's why I couldn't have those powers. And that's what happened the other day when I got all crazy on that guy and the fucking weather got crazy. It happened 2 weekends in a row. I can't get crazy. I mean, I just can't. You guys think what I do is crazy, but I'm saying acting in, harsh emotions. That's what that is. That's acting a fool, dude. You can't act crazy. You can't have magical powers and do that. So people don't heal themselves, and then they learn magical powers, and then they act crazy because they're using them, and that's what it is. I had a dude straight up, in Oklahoma, asked me to fucking curse his baby mama because he was still hurt about some shit. He's already married, bro. He wanted me to get his baby mama. He's remarried with new kids and wanted me to get his baby mama over some old shit. Just because he still has some hurt feelings about some shit she done did. He told me the whole story about it. And so we could alchemize it, but it's like, no, bro, you're not acting out like that. Why would you run to a witch? I want you to curse them because they said something, or they took my boyfriend, or they have a life that I want. I want this. You go to the gods and you ask them for something, and that's just darkness, bro. I swear to you. You're not on your knees praying to God to make your life better. You're fucking, you're lighting a candle, drinking blood or some shit, asking God to give you asking some dark God to give you all the things of this world. Exnay on the Upid stay. The highest levels of light. You can't go to Jesus, Melchizedek, Metatron, Buddha, Krishna, Vishnu, Isis. None of them are going to give you the things of this world, guys. That's not why it works. And that's why your prayers aren't being answered when you ask Jesus for such stupid things. He doesn't do that. No more can you go to ask Jesus for vengeance. He's going to give you forgiveness, bro. But when you wanted vengeance, who did you go to? I'm going to Callie. She's going to cut your head off and drink your blood. I got you. What's their name? I got you. Let me go fuck them up. In the essence. And they're like, they're haunting you. I bet they are. If it's not me, then what the fuck else is out there? There was nothing worse than me. The only thing worse than me is Pac, so I just say it's Pac. But he's only the intermediary spirit, meaning he's got a whole army of dark spirits that he's been riding with since he died. Probably before that. Ride or die. Me and my boyfriend. It's a lot of jokes and shit. We weren't this close. We became close. We've been, we're 3 years into this, dude. We got a whole lifetime together. We better get close. We better work through our issues. We got a whole lifetime of this. For real, for real? Yeah. He'll be there when my babies are born. And when I'm making them, too. He watched me give Bobby head. Are you serious? What do you say? Do better. That was probably more of a Kobe stating. But yeah, they're there for everything, bro. They're there for everything, dude. And those are just my guys. And that's what it is. It's like, there's not a place that you're hiding that people aren't telling you. It's like, how did you know? Your spirit guides told my spirit guides, and now we know everything? Or actually, most of the time, it's like Russ's higher self tells on him all the time. Do you know what I'm doing? What are you doing? His higher self tells on him all the time. I know his spirit. His flesh is an idiot. I don't know that guy. I don't even like that guy. But his spirit, the spirit of Lucifer, tells me all the time what this guy's up to. It's like, he tells on himself. There's nobody cares. I mean, Pac, there's a very complex relationship right there. There is a complex relationship. Pac hates him. There's not a word, it's not a hate, but he's like laser focused on that dude. He's like on his neck, like George Floyd. For life, bro. He will not get off his neck. Because he knows his intentions are all bad. It's been bad blood since the beginning. And it's a joke, but it's not. I'd hate to be on his bad side, bro. I don't think he'll ever be on his good side. I mean, unless you just became, I guess maybe it's just I don't know. I don't know. But Pac can't stand Russ. Since the very beginning. Since the very fucking beginning, he couldn't stand that boy. And, I stand between Pac and that boy. And ultimately, I would say it was God. You know what I mean? Because I don't really stand in front of Pac with anybody. But once I don't stand for somebody, oh, he's going after you. Because he knows what you was really doing that made me turn away from you. He knows what you're doing that I don't know. And he doesn't tell me because he knows I'll get hurt by it. But he's not going to let me, you know what I mean? That's his job as the Avenger. He's not going to... And that's Alistair. The demon of Alistair. Alistair is an avenging angel, bro. That's what he does. Look him up. So knowing that you have Alistair Crowley avenging me is a very dangerous thought because he knew how to do the magic in this life. These aren't spirits of the other world. This is a reincarnated person like myself that is semi-awoken to who he was. When he discovers me, you know what I mean, you're in a lot of trouble. And I'll be like, when he hears my stories about who specifically was hurting me, oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah! In the essence, God gives the power to the people. I don't use those powers. I surrendered all my dark powers. But in essence, I surrendered them to them. I forfeited them to them so that they could use them, and you know what I mean, on my behalf. Only guided by God. They can't just burst out into fucking, doing all kinds of crazy shit. And everything is ordained by God. Everything. So, even down to the dark practices. Like I said, if you get fucking, you get unalived by some magic, that was part of your contract. That was part of your contract, bro. So you fuck around and find out. You said you were going to find out this year, this lifetime. Oh, well, you found out. Better luck next lifetime. How many times have you been alive? Who knows? Keep blowing your head off like this, it might not work out so well. How many times do you keep wasting lives like this? Hey, I love yous. Laters. Tomorrow's Mercury. Lots of speeches. And we're building up to another Friday. And, you know, whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Later, haters. Oops.